Podcast show. I'm your host, Rich Wall Street Williams. And listen, I am super excited to continue this conversation. On Friday, I talked a little bit about um, how to beat the competition, right? How do you beat the competition? How do you do that? Is it possible to beat the competition if the competition has access to the same tools, the same training and the same techniques? Is it possible to beat them? And so this conversation that we're having is a conversation around: is it possible to beat the competition? Is it possible to beat the competition? So this is where we're going. So let me just give you a little bit of backdrop on how I got to this thought on our performance. So a number of years ago, I was doing some sales training with some real estate agents, and we were talking about um, how to divide and decide on your market, how to strategically position yourself within your market, and how do you start carving out your marketplace position, right? And so we're going through this training. It's an ongoing training, which means that we were getting together. We would get together like once a week to go through the information, right? So, and so I'm doing the training, and so one day I'm preparing for the training, and the thought occurred to me: "Wait, so we're talking about beating the competition. The competition is doing exactly what I'm doing right now. The competition is sitting down in the training room. The competition has a sales coach that's walking them through how to sell, right? And so I'm thinking about it. If the competition has access to the same tools, if the competition has access to the same techniques, the same training, So let me ask you a question: does your competition, do they have access to social media? Say yes. Does your competition, do they have access to digital marketing? Say yes. Does your competition have access to online resources concerning selling? Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. So the competition, ladies and gentlemen, the competition, they have access to the same things that you and I have access to. And if the competition has access to the same things that you and I have access to, are we truly beating the competition? Is it possible? Are we really beating the competition? And so I switched my thinking from how to beat the competitions to what are some things that I can do to outperform the competition. Now that's a different mindset. That's a different type of training, man. When you look at performance, I was watching a coach talking about the difference between amateurs and pros, and he said an amateur practices until they get it right, where a pro practices until they can't get it wrong. So that's a different mindset. So now the focus shifts from beating the competition to my performance. Understand this: that you as an individual, I don't care how spectacular the other person is, there isn't another you. You are an original. You are an original. There isn't a carbon copy. No one can say what you say the way that you say it. No one can do what you do the way that you do it. You have no competition. As a matter of fact, on the freeway of my life, it is never crowded. It is never crowded when you're in your lane. It is never crowded. So the focus isn't on, friend, beating the competition. The focus is now on how do I outperform the competition when the competition has access to the same things that we have access to. So I went through a couple of things, five key strategies. There are at least five. There are probably more, but these are just some of the five that popped out to me. I'm going to quickly go through them, but we're going to take some time later on to kind of to chop them up and decide a little bit better on how we're going to discuss this information, right? So I'm titling this whole entire series on the shocking truth on competition, what they don't tell you. The shocking truth on competition, what they don't tell you. So there's five key strategies that you and I should consider, and I may add more, but but for now, these are the five things that immediately jumped out to me when I thought of how do I beat the competition. Number one is you got to build your skills weekly. You got to practice, drill, and rehearse. You got to build your skill. Because listen, when you are sleeping, someone else is playing. Someone else is practicing. Someone is out there perfecting their craft while you're sleeping. So in my profession, I don't have a 9 to 5. I have an eyes out open, the eyes shut. I'm constantly working to improve what I do. Right. So you got to build your skills weekly. I was doing some training some time ago, and I had a bunch of in the salespeople in the room, and I said, "Hey, listen, I want you to go back to your office, and I want you to find some agents in your office, and I want you to ask them how much time do you spend at least." No, the question was, do you spend at least 10 or 15 minutes a week, not 10 or 15 minutes a day, 10 or 15 minutes a week practicing or learning a new script technique, etc. So there's about 30 agents in the room. They raised their hand and said all of them agreed that they were going to do the homework. So the following week they come back. So about 30 people came back, all came back. I said, hey, how many of you did your homework? All hands went up, 100% participation. I said, how many of you found at least one or two agent in your office that practices 10 to 15 minutes a week, not a day, a week? Out of about 30 people in the room, about two or three people raised their hand. That reflects the market. 20% of the sales professionals in your market are earning 80% of the wealth. In real estate, 20% of the realtors earn 80% of the wealth. It's an 80-20 principle. And so if you're going to beat the competition, you got to do things that the competition isn't doing. The competition isn't working on their skill weekly. In your office, you found people that aren't working on their skill weekly. They're not doing the things that they need to do. You got to practice, drill, and rehearse. Why do I say practice, drill, and rehearse? Because when you practice, drill, and rehearse from, you become confident, competent, and you sound natural during a selling situation. Practice, drill, and rehearse. Right. The second thing that I found that separates good sales professionals from great sales professionals that they commit to reading. Read at least 5 books a year on your profession, on your vocation, on your career, on your industry. Read at least 5 books. If you're in sales, and find 5 books on sales, an audio book or podcast that you can listen to consistently. Right? If I'm a human resource professional, then I'm going to read books on HR policies, HR procedures. How do you win with your internal customers? How do you win with the ex? I'm going to find information that supports where I'm going and what I'm doing. Right. So you got to read 5 books, and the reason why you're reading 5 books is so you don't want to challenge your assumption. You want to challenge your assumption. The third thing you want to do is you want to leverage your social media. I read a research that said 50% of those people online that under the age of 25, 52% of them go to social media first before they call you and look up your company. So if part of my marketing and part of my growing does not include social media, then I'm missing the mark, man. I'm missing it. So you got to leverage your social media. There's a lot of things that I can say about social media, but the number one thing that I want to say about social media is, do you know who your audience is? Excellent. I guess I like that. I like that. So do you know your audience? Do you know your audience? Who's your target audience? What's their age, demographic? Where do they live? Their buying habits, etc. So you got to leverage your social media. Here's another tip for social media. If you're looking to launch your brand, if you're looking to penetrate your market, are you looking to penetrate your social media platform, your followers with your content about your company in the first 90 days, I recommend you do the 10 by 10 approach. The 10 by 10 approach. What's the 10 by 10, Rich? I'm glad you asked. The 10 by 10 approach is simply meaning that I'm going to do 10 posts on social media before 10 a.m. When should I start? Whenever you want to start. When you open up your eyes, get at it. Every 30 minutes, do it, right? The goal is I want to post 10 posts. How do you mean 10 on Facebook, 10 on Instagram? No, if you're Facebook, if it's Instagram, if it's something on TikTok, if it's Twitter, 10 by 10. Just do 10 posts social media wise, and then hashtag that post accordingly. Hashtag with your business name, hashtag with whatever it is. Find out, what are top hashtags for your industry. The fourth thing I want to encourage you to do, if you're really serious about beating the competition, what you want to do is you want to invest in your team. Invest in your team. Inspire your team members to unlock their full potential. And the final thing I want to say, if you're going to beat the competition, friend, then you should consider hiring a coach. Because when you hire a coach, your whole team will benefit from personalized guidance and support. I read an article by the Objective Management Group in March of 2023, and it said that teams that get consistent coaching saw an increase by 50% in utilizing sales technology. The second thing they found out is that 19% of them outperformed their peers. So coaching makes a difference. Listen, I just wanted to give some quick tips here on how to beat the competition. I hope that you enjoy this competition, this information on competition. I'm Rich Wall Street Williams, and on the Motivate Podcast Show, we always say less, but we definitely believe for more. Let's get it.